I now call first speakers on my list, the representative of Armenia.
Thank you for giving me the floor, Madam Vice Chair. Building on the outcomes of the SDG Summit, the discussions under this agenda item offer a timely opportunity to reflect upon the achievements of 2030 agenda so far and discuss the existing challenges to get back on track for the full implementation of sustainable development goals at national, regional and global levels. The number of high-level meetings during the high-level week of UNGA on climate, financing and health, as well as the water conference and midterm review of the Sendai framework earlier this year, showcased the need towards strengthened partnership and cooperation to achieve sustainable development by 2030. The downfall caused by the multidimensional and interlinked crisis can be reversed only through consolidated efforts of the international community with the UN at its core. It is of crucial importance to give a new impetus to the achievement of SDGs and ensure that all nations and peoples enjoy peace, security, justice, sustainable development and human rights and can truly embrace the universal pledge of leaving no one behind. Armenia remains strongly committed to the implementation of 2030 agenda, prioritizing the promotion of inclusive, equitable and quality education, ensuring a universal, affordable, accessible and quality healthcare systems resilient to pandemics, and strengthening the capacities of social protection service to address the needs of the most vulnerable, including children, elderly, women and persons with disabilities. Thus, to assess the progress so far and to achieve greater coherence in incorporating the SDGs into national strategies and programs, next year Armenia will present its third voluntary national review. Madam Vice Chair, many of developing countries continue to bear the dire consequences of the climate change, being the last contributors to it. The lack of the sufficient climate financing severely constrains the development aspirations of the vulnerable countries. In this regard, the introduction of new innovative financing tools such as, for example, debt for climate swaps, are of utmost importance. In the wake of the COP28, there is a need to strengthen the efforts towards the full operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund. Armenia, as the member of the Transitional Committee, stands ready to engage constructively with all partners to the successful conclusion of this process. Armenia remains committed to the Paris Agreement and, in line with its NDC, has set the target of 40% reduction of GHG emissions by 2030 and reach net zero goal by 2050. For this purpose, the government of Armenia takes steps to promote energy transition with the aim to increase the share of the renewable energy sources and energy production. Madam Vice Chair, the sustainable development is significantly impacted when we face the socio-economic humanitarian consequences of use of force, economic and other forms of coercion in the region. As a result of the latest military aggression against the people of Nagorno-Karabakh by Azerbaijan, more than 100,000 people have been ethnically cleansed and were forced to leave their homes, finding refuge in Armenia. Mass displacement of the entire population of Nagorno-Karabakh to Armenia necessitates immediate humanitarian response and resource mobilization. Threats to regional peace and security directly undermine the efforts to promote sustainable development and well-being for the people in the region. The unfolding situation requires an immediate and practical action from the international community, relevant humanitarian organizations, the UN with its specialized agencies to alleviate the continuous hardships, deprivation and suffering of the people of Nagorno-Karabakh. The UN needs to mobilize the capacities of the international community to address the life-saving, protection and early recovery needs of the refugees and ensure their fundamental human rights, including the right to safe and dignified return to their ancestral homeland. Madam Vice Chair, in the run-up to the Summit of the Future, there is a chance to reinvigorate the multilateralism and global solidarity to ensure equal and sustainable development for all. The global challenges for all call for efficient, timely and coherent action by the United Nations system to mobilize the capacities of the international community and coordinate the collective efforts to reach the most vulnerable in every corner of the world to ensure full and timely implementation of SDGs. I thank you.